Next Sunday on Cartoon Network's Acme Night for Marty McFly.
You've got to come back with me.
The future just got heavy.
This one event starts a chain reaction that completely destroys your entire family.
Again.
Oh, this is heavy.
So lace up, hop in the DeLorean, and hit the road.
Where we're going, we don't need road.
Acme Night presents Back to the Future Part 2. Premieres next Sunday at 6. Epic movies for everyone on Cartoon Network.
If you need me, I'll be back at my lab, dismantling this thing.
Right. What the hell? Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing in my room? Wait a minute. Wait. Okay.
Freeze!
Hey, it's okay. I don't want any trouble.
You got trouble now, you piece of trash! What are you doing in here with my daughter?
Hey, listen, I'm just in the wrong house.
You got that right, you know.
Hey, look, I made a mistake.
Damn right you made a mistake! I'm okay! Oh, right, you keep running, sucker! And you tell that realty company that I ain't selling, you hear? We ain't gonna be terrorized!
Marchy McFly, Marchy McFly. Year 6 of Marchy McFly. Ready or not, Year 6 of Marchy McFly. I'm back, great Scott. It's Year 6. 31 straight days for you. In Year 6. It's Back to the Future Part 2. Every day. Gonna have a little talk of Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc.
Good evening, and welcome to a very spooky episode of Marchy McFly. It is Friday the 13th, the spookiest date on the calendar. You know, except for Halloween. And you may be saying to yourself, Michael, what does Back to the Future and Friday the 13th have in common? And I will tell you. But also you may be saying, Michael, what do those two things have in common with a very stereotypical European accent used for vampires? Well, that part is absolutely nothing. Sometimes I just get caught in this accent and I can't get out of it. All right, wait a minute. Okay, all right. Yes, I'm out of the accent for now. We'll see. It might slip back in, but happy Friday, everybody. It is indeed Friday, March 13th, and it is the first time that Marchy McFly is taking place on a Friday the 13th. See, look, it just kind of happens. The thing with that voice is one day I just called up my buddy Dave, if you've ever listened to Fine Movies, Fine Spirits, and he answered the phone and I was like, oh, David, help me. And I was like, exhausted. I go, and this was during COVID, so all we had were phone calls. And I was like, David, please help me. I was in the woods, and a man came up to me, and he bit me on the neck. And I don't know, but I feel like I'm changing. And I just started talking like this, and it went, I mean, to this day, I'll still call, like if he'll answer, I'll go, hello, David. It happens. And for the longest time, it was just me saying ridiculously inappropriate things with that, like, very like just dirty things, saying, like, my favorite word to say was drippings. I want to see your drippings. And I couldn't, like, I was like to the point where I was doing it by myself. I was coming with things I thought was funny. I don't know if they're funny things, but things I thought were funny, so that I could say them to him the next time I'd call him. And we did a podcast. The two of us. And my original idea was the name of the show was David and the Dracula. And he would be himself, and I would be in character as Dracula the entire time. I don't know if he'd be interviewing me or we'd just be talking about things. And I'd like to play it, as straight as possible, but be in is it basically Martin Landau's Bela Lugosi from Ed Wood, kind of, bullshit, like that kind of voice that I just, like, sometimes it would be like this, but sometimes I would get very, very animated like this. Like I don't even, it's somewhat similar, but it is much more flamboyant and much bigger. And look, again, that has nothing to do with Back to the Future, and it really has nothing to do with Friday the 13th. But Friday the 13th and Back to the Future share something. Specifically, Friday the 13th 4, or I guess it was originally, or it is just called Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and Back to the Future 2. What do those two things share in common? In both movies, Crispin Glover's character is murdered. Now, I guess technically you could say Crispin Glover isn't in Back to the Future Part 2, but there is images of him used, and I think that ended up being some sort of a lawsuit. And we're getting ahead of things. Yes, I know we're not there yet, but there are images used. And then in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, he played which was a year before the original Back to the Future, 1984, I believe, I think. And he kind of played one of the nerds who went up to the camp. Like, maybe he wasn't a nerd, but he wasn't the coolest guy there. He had a very weird dance, and he got a meat cleaver. I think it was a corkscrew in the hand and a meat cleaver right to the face. So I posted on Blue Sky, I posted a couple things. I made a Photoshop of Jason Voorhees and Crispin Glover's character from Friday 4. I put him, it's the Back to the Future 2 image, but I thought it came out pretty good. The Jason part, the one part I didn't like was how I put his hand, I did the Doc glasses over the Jason mask. I don't think that's the Jason 4 mask, but that's okay. And the hands didn't come out great, like Doc's hand trying to be in front of the glasses. I screwed that up a little bit, which is fine. I thought the Crispin Glover came out pretty good, to the point where I was like, are people going to think that's AI? Like, I just think it colored, like, the color correction to kind of match. I was very happy with it. This is the point. Like, I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm excited when I make a Photoshop of a Friday the 13th Back to the Future mashup, and I get proud of that. That's the type of person you're dealing with here. So please, just know that going in. I posted that, and originally it was going to be, I was like, oh, it'd be funny to have Kevin Bacon, but I was like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I wasn't even thinking Back to the Future, like the connection there at first. At first it was just going to be Michael J. Fox. I thought, well, I should put an actor from Friday the 13th. Well, Kevin Bacon. But everyone knows, spoiler alert for the first Friday the 13th, but everyone knows Kevin Bacon was murdered by Pamela Voorhees, not Jason. Jason didn't show up till really as the killer until Part 2. He didn't show up with the hockey mask until Part 3. And then Part 4 all of a sudden is the final chapter. Well, we get 4 more Friday the 13th. We then get a couple of Jason movies. They are called Friday the 13th. That's actually like because of some trademark and lawsuits. That's why you'll see Jason X and Final Friday, Jason Goes to Hell. They're not Friday the 13th movies, quote unquote. We got that one remake, which might be where the mask actually came from. But I'm going off on tangents that, again, don't have anything to do with Back to the Future 2. Except then I realized, well, wait a second, I put Crispin Glover on there. That's what I did. I put him on there. And that's the connection, because even though Crispin Glover isn't in Back to the Future Part 2, he's still connected. It all makes sense in my head. And then I put a different post out saying, what does alternative 1985 Biff and Jason Voorhees have in common? And I think we both know the answer to that. That showed, maybe it showed a little too much of a graphic image of Crispin Glover getting his head cleavered in. But, you can't. A picture says 1,000 words, and, it worked. It told the story. It told the tale. I'll put it that way. Am I wasting your time? Maybe. Am I wasting my time? Maybe. But guess what? Who cares? This is fun. I love talking about this garbage. And as much as I said I was not going to talk about 2015 anymore, I said 2015 is behind us. As I was getting the clip for the episode, or getting the picture for the episode last night, I came across something. I said, oh, this is a mistake. And then I realized, oh no, it's not a mistake. It's something I missed, something Doc missed, something Marty missed. And it's actually a compliment, a clever little compliment, because as much as I don't like the idea of I saw something on Reddit about that too. Again, I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but here I am. Somebody said, well, the Doc, Biff got the almanac in 55, but he didn't use it until 58. So that's 3 years right there. And they're saying in Back to the Future time travel lore, that means maybe the future wouldn't have changed for another 3 years. I don't know how that works because it's in the past. That doesn't quite make sense. But they were trying to make sense of how Biff could have come back to this time. I spent too much time talking about that yesterday, or too much time focused on that. And I really liked being focused on that. It was fun to just kind of pick that apart. But he did. He came back. It all happened. This is the way the movie happened. So logic or not, that's how it happened. But one thing I didn't notice is that when Doc and Marty got back in the car and he punches in the date to go back to 1985, it shows destination time, October 26th, 1985, present time, October 21st, 2015, and then last departed time, previous departed time. It's so quick. Nobody notices. Doc doesn't notice it. Marty doesn't notice it. And I barely noticed it. It says November 12th, 1955, 6 p.m. So he actually showed up at night. It was pretty sunny when he got there. But in November, that's sunny. Well, California. So maybe, I know the West Coast, the sun sets last or later. Wait. Oh, no. Actually, it doesn't matter because he doesn't. This is saying the time he left, 6:38, not the time he arrived in 1955. And he, of course, leaves. He stays with Biff for a little while and leaves later. So that could still be very factual. But it says November 12th, 1955. Nobody noticed it. It's a nice little Easter egg to show that we know that they came from 1985, went to 2015, and went back to 1985. So it should say 1985 there. It should say the exact same time. Or it should say the exact same date. What I don't understand is why they're going back at 9 o'clock. They left. They're losing an entire day of their life. Right? Didn't they go? They went on October 26th, 1985 in the morning. They should have come back that same morning. If everything if everything went fine and they just came back in the morning, it would have been like, where'd you go? Oh, Doc wanted me to show me something in his shop. Oh, cool. You were gone for a half hour. No big deal. Instead, they're gone the entire day. Now, obviously, they're coming back to a different 1985, so this doesn't apply. It really doesn't matter. But it does to me, because why would they go back at 9 o'clock at night? Why would they lose an entire day of their life if everything was normal and they came back to the same 1985? They'd be like, where have you been all day, Marty? We couldn't find you. Nobody could find you. Doc couldn't find you. Jennifer's parents are going crazy. Everyone thought you guys perished. And, Biff said something about a car, but we didn't believe him. We thought Doc, you blew up or something. Like, no. The only reason they came back at 9 p.m., again, more complaints. It's not because it makes any sense. It's because it feeds into the necessary beats of the story. They need to come back at night. They need it to be dark, so they can't quite know what's going on. They don't quite realize that things are really different. Maybe, it's a little hidden, so it hides from us some things, even though we're noticing some things. And it hides Marty, even though he should have noticed things. And it's not in the middle of the day, so he couldn't just walk right through the front door. All of this, the 9 p.m. is just so that the story can progress and so that he can come back and stumble in to somebody else's house. So again, Doc would never, why 9 o'clock, Doc? No one ever questions it because Bob Gale just wrote down, and they come back at night. Why do they come back at night? Well, because they do. I didn't expect that looking at the time circuits was going to get me down a tangent of tonight's, minutes, but it does. See, so it does kind of work. So let's jump into it. Let's get into the next 3 minutes and 20 seconds of Back to the Future Part 2, where today we will be talking about minute 40 to minute 43 and 20 seconds. So it's 40 to 43:20. And things aren't exactly the way Doc and Marty left them. So Marty is being dropped off by Doc. We see all those for sale signs, which I think is a nice little touch. I remember as a kid thinking, oh, look at that radio tower. That wasn't there behind them, but I believe that was always there. Pull up in the driveway. And he's like, all right, see you later. I'm going to go back to my workshop, to my place, and dismantle this thing. I don't think I like that either. In Back to the Future 1, for Doc and Marty, for Marty, it's been a week and a day here now. Like, he's been going through a lot, really just for one day of 1985, he's gone through a lot. For Doc, we don't know how long he's been venturing in 2015. It's been a while enough so that he could have surgical procedures and have the car, customized. So he's been there for long enough that he's seen the good that this time machine can do. In the original Back to the Future, he says, this is the big one. This is the one I've been waiting for, the one I've been working my whole life for. And now, because they don't know that Biff took it, he's like, it could happen because they were dumb and put Jennifer in an alley. And Jennifer saw herself and went, oh no, I'm young, I'm old. And all she did was faint. The universe didn't collapse, or at least not that we're aware of. It'd be funny if the Hill Valley was all alone and everything else did collapse. But because of that one thing, because Jennifer fainted, he's now going to dismantle what may be the greatest, what is the greatest creation in the history of mankind, the greatest scientific breakthrough. He is going to dismantle because of one tiny little fainting. The idea that something terrible could happen is true, but he knew that going in. So again, there would be no reason why Doc would do this. I'm getting annoyed by every little thing, but that's okay because some good stuff's going to happen now. So he drops off Marty, and I'm looking around. I don't see, there's some cars out front that may not be his car, but maybe it's someone across the street who has a friend, so he might not pay attention to that. Everything else looks pretty much the same. The big difference is that there is a lock on his fence. And he's like, what the hell? There wasn't a lock there this morning. There wasn't a lock there yesterday. He's probably wondering, maybe something happened. Now that garbage barrel, I guess that's the same garbage barrel because he didn't seem to notice that or care about that. So he doesn't, like Michael J. Fox, though, I got to say, just jumps up, hops this thing, no problem. Like, I mean, that, to me, I'd be like, okay, so I'm going to put my foot on the barrel, then we're going to cut, bring in the stuntman. Michael J. Fox is like, boom, 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 jumps up there. He goes back to his bedroom, or what he remembers being his bedroom. Now in the backyard, you see some like branches and stuff, and you think to yourself, well, were those the same thing that were there before? Like everything else is the same? Or again, it's nighttime, so he doesn't notice because this has to happen at night. He goes and creeps into his window really quietly, jumps into his bed. Now, it'd be interesting if the bed wasn't even there because it's someone else's bedroom. They put their bed elsewhere, but that's okay. And boom, there's a young lady in there, and it is a great reveal for a movie that, isn't a great movie. It is a great reveal that he goes into what he thought was his house. It was his house the previous time, what he thought it was, and someone else is in there, and this little girl starts freaking out. And she's like, what are you doing, little girl? What's the matter? And then, boom, in walks the dude from Airplane. He's one of the I Speak Jive, Ain't No Thing, that guy. He's also been on, Marchy McFly before because of Back to the Future Part 2, originally the first Marchy McFly 2, but he has also been on sitcom All You Faithful as he had a small role in the Jefferson's Christmas episode. And just the classic freeze sucker. And I can't use freeze sucker again because I did that in Marchy McFly too. And that shot of him holding the bat, it is just, I love it. And first of all, I love, this is 1985. So of course is every poster Michael Jackson? I see Off the Wall, I see Thriller, and I see, I don't know, him in like a yellow tuxedo. I don't know that look very well. Oh, there's another Michael Jackson poster on the wall there. This is I think it's a Thriller one also. He's in the white coat. And, okay, so did the set decorators think, wait, this is a young black girl, just put Michael Jackson everywhere? Like there could be anybody else? Nobody else? I mean, where's El DeBarge? Anyone? But this is Michael Jackson. And again, it's 1985. Michael Jackson did rule the world at that point, so I guess it makes sense. But I love that he's like, I'm in the wrong house. He's like, you're damn right, you're in the wrong house. And he starts swinging the bat at this. He's wrecking the room, and so then the mother comes in. She's freaking out. Then there's the younger brother. He's like, get him, Dad, get him. I think I heard him say, kill him. And he's like cheering his dad on. I love that. And then something interesting happens. So the whole family comes out, and he says, you tell that realty company I ain't selling. We ain't going to be terrorized. And he must think Marty works for, so this is like where it gets even more nefarious. So we see all the signs of Bifco Realty. And we know now that, Bifco is some sort of company. This guy thinks that Marty works for Bifco, and he's trying to scare them to sell their house to Bifco, I guess, or to sell their house to get them out of there. I don't know. But does that mean that's happening to their neighbors too? Like people are showing up trying to scare them away? Like that is low. I mean, Biff, man, that's frightening. But for the laugh part, it's funny because Marty doesn't live in this house anymore. The house he thought he lived in, something happened from going from 2015 to 1985. Something happened along the way that changed his present, which again, how can the future change the present? Well, if the future goes back to the past, which is then the present's, wait a minute. I was going to sound good. Oh man, I was going to say the future goes back to the past, where the present is the past future. But I guess the present is always the past future, and the future is always the present's past. No, the future is always the future. The present is the future's past, and the present is the past's future. What if you just heard like a, and like my head exploded and I just slump over and like this episode never gets out because I overthought it and I had a brain hemorrhage, a massive brain hemorrhage, just like obviously Jennifer did in 2015 when she fell over and no one was there to catch her. So anyway, something happened that changed everything in 1985. But is it really 1985? Marty is freaking out. He has no idea what's going on. Now he's running down the street, and now he's starting to realize that this is not the same place I left. There's these cars parked everywhere, junk cars. Looks like there's a police car smashed into another car, and it just looks like complete anarchy. There's an accident. It looks like a car smoking on fire and completely just abandoned in the middle of the road. And he looks and he sees 2 chalk outlines. There's been a double murder recently. And I think we see blood. Is that guts and blood? Or is that just motor oil? I can't tell. Did they actually do the chalk outlines, or is that a movie thing? Either way, he's looking around. And there's one thing that I wish they kept. It seems like it was cut right here because he's looking around. Then it cuts and he's now running down the street. And I think behind him, we see the high school. I think that's the high school all burned up. And he's like, what the hell? This has got to be the wrong year. And he sees a newspaper. Now, it's interesting that with all this craziness and all this violence and unrest, that you can still trust the Hill Valley newspaper to be delivered. The Hill Valley Telegraph was delivered right on this person's doorstep. And Marty looks at the paper, October 26th, 1985. There's got to be something wrong here. What the hell's going on? And then, boom, there's a shotgun in the back of his head. I do like Marty's reaction of throwing the newspaper away. Turns around, it's Mr. Strickland. He's got a bullets strapped to him. He's got a shotgun, and he's like, "You're the guy stealing my paper." I loved, is it James Tolkien? Is that his name? I believe. Is it Tolkien or Tolan? Whatever it is, he still has this great energy in his voice. The way he yells at McFly here. He's like, Mr. Strickland, you gave me detention." He's like, "What are you talking about? The school burnt down 60 years ago." I don't know what the hell's going on here, Mrs. Strickland. I'm scared. And then all of a sudden, hey, Strickland, this car shows up for a drive-by shooting. Now, if Marty doesn't move, Marty would have been murdered right there. Now what happens? What happens now? So, at this point, Doc doesn't... What if Doc dismantled the time machine? And then he goes back to tell Marty, and he found out that Marty was shot dead by a drive-by shooting. And he didn't have a bulletproof vest like Doc did. Doc would have been... Then Doc's distraught. He goes back and, just wallows in alcohol. Or he rebuilds the time machine. You feel like, let's say he doesn't take the time machine down. Marty gets murdered right here. And he finds out and he's like, okay, I need to do something. He needs to go back. Now the other Doc, this Doc, well, if he just went back to the original 1985, no, he couldn't do that. He couldn't do that. He could go back to try to save Marty now, like go back an hour. So he could do that. But he also had the option of figuring out to go all the way back to 1955 by himself. That would have been, and he could have written a letter to himself saying, listen, I'm a man of science. You're a man of science. This is what's happening. Go make sure that Biff doesn't get this. So there is a way around it. But again, Michael J. Fox is the star of the movie. You can't just be Doc in the past. But that's one of the options that would have happened if Marty was shot down here by the rain of bullets. So the shots they shoot up Strickland's house like crazy. And then Marty's like, he comes out, he's like, Jesus Christmas. He needs to get the hell out of there. Strickland then runs out on the street with a shotgun and he's about to fire. And that's the end of this 3-minute and 20-second block. So there is a lot happening here. We see one character that we recognize, Strickland, Mr. Strickland from the high school that burnt down. There is no high school. There is no job. He's not a teacher. He's not a principal. He's nothing. And he's like, who the hell are you? He doesn't know who Marty McFly is at all, but he is a slacker. And now Strickland just guards his house and guards his newspapers and shoots. It doesn't seem like completely, freaked out by these guys. In fact, he's going to start shooting after them. It's just, this isn't the 1985 that Marty left. And where does he live? His family. Where's his family? What the hell is going on? Where's him? Where's the other? Like, if he comes back to a time where he didn't leave. So in other words, Marty McFly that never left this time, this version of 1985. So that would mean there's another Marty there and another Doc there. And I know it's discussed, but you didn't really think about it. Like, they're out there living life right now. And the Marty we know, he doesn't know what the hell's going on, but he's going to start finding out soon over the next couple days. And I hope you'll be there to come along with me for that fancy ride. But that's it for today. However, I will be back tomorrow. Oh, look at that. You know what's happened? I swear to God, I looked up. Now all of a sudden I just sound like I'm some sort of Latin lover. No, I won't do. Okay, here we go. No, I lost it. Okay, wait a minute. The creatures, the children of the night. All right, I'm back. I looked up on my computer and I saw 13th and I thought Friday 13th and I went right back into the stupid voice. Yes, we're done today, but I will be back tomorrow to do this all over again. We're at the halfway mark, my friends. We're getting close. We're getting there. And now we know that something happened. Something's rotten in 1985, and we need to get to the bottom of it. So we will. But until we get back to this, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. The Facebook page, Fans Not Experts. The YouTube channel, Fans Not Experts. That's because the website where all these friggin' podcasts are found is fansnotexperts.com. That is it. I am done. I will see you tomorrow, my friends. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.